Hello, everyone. I thought I would do something a little bit different this year in terms of talking about practice planning and actually just talking about it because I've blogged about it several times. I'll pop the links down below and in the blog posts that I'll also be doing. Yeah, I thought it would be much easier this round since I've been doing some of my practice planning using Trello. So I am actually just going to get that to show up. This is my Trello board that I decided to make public this year. I have been using it off and on with the students. There was actually one year where we used it to keep track of assignments. So I did touch upon it briefly during one of the practice times with Ms. Rhona sessions, but I thought I'd just go into it a little bit more detail. So we've got my legend and templates, so I'll just open up one of these. Throughout the year, what I've been working on is actually working through my students' pieces, and with everything from Prep A all the way up to grade 10, actually getting them all performance ready and putting teacher demos on the Studio YouTube channel. So I have two checklists here. I've got a learning checklist and a recording checklist. So those of you who are interested in using Trello, I'll pop a link down in the video description. But feel free to copy these checklists as well. And, actually you can even watch and get notifications when I change things around. A lot of times I'm just moving cards back and forth. So this is all based on the Kanban method, where you can just move things across. And I've got things color-coded, as you can see, so student pieces, professional development, my own personal projects, church music, and recording projects. And you can see some of these have two colors to them. Okay, back to this card. So typically what I do is I'll do a read through. Now when I was younger, I actually would just, I was told to work on this one section, I would just work on this one section, and I would just work hands separately because that's what I was told. But now as a performing musician, I've learned that, our learning timelines are usually quite shorter than we would like a lot of times. So it's good to actually do a full read through so you get a lay of the land. And then work on learning the piece. So you can break it down in sections, troubleshooting, so drilling all your trouble spots, and then dealing with your shaping and expression. So these are the general steps, and once you have that, you can start bringing things up to tempo. Bulletproofing, I should have put that together with the memorize, because it's really, bulletproofing and memorizing are kind of part and parcel. Memorizing is a type of bulletproofing, and bulletproofing is needed to memorize. So I'm going to just combine those. There we go. And then the recording checklist. So recording, editing, scheduling to post it on the YouTube channel, and then scheduling to share it on social media. I should put schedule to, this really should be upload, and schedule shares. Oops. So it's very easy to update, and you can create checklists very easily. You can copy checklists from other cards. Everything just gets moved around. You can create new lists here. So I have my practice list today. If it's a day where I'm not live streaming, and then this is what I'm going to be doing at this afternoon's live stream, which I have to start getting ready for. All the students' repertoire as well as mine just hang out in this little sandbox for all the pieces. Just for ease sake and sanity, I've got it all sorted alphabetically by title. Technical requirements. I initially had these by, conservatory and level, but I was streamlining last week, so I've got all the conservatories in the same card. So it'll be easier to keep track of where I am. And less cards to move around. If I wanted to do like a little journey, a project description, I can. At the bottom, I can do a little comment saying, okay, the recording went well or only got this far. Recording projects in process. So it's nice to have the checklist because I actually had followed what some people have done where they have a different column for each stage of a project. I've seen people use this for business, studying, planning weddings, planning trips, projects. But in the end, I just figured we need the simple to do, in progress, and done. Because the checklist will tell you exactly where I am. I actually had to re-record that because there was distortion. Got those all re-recorded. Or most of them re-recorded. So yeah, these are all in process. And then what I can do at the end of this month, what I'll do is I'll archive the list, or I can move them somewhere else. There's like tips there. You can share, people can comment, I can adjust those permissions. I can make this completely private, which it was a while back. But I knew this year that I was going to be doing a blog post and a vlog on this, so I decided it was time to make it public. This way too, students, everybody can see, students or other teachers. Anyone who's just trying to figure out how to organize their practices better, I can move things around very, very easily. I can copy cards. So literally what I did here was each time we have a date set for when we're playing or singing in church, just copy, and I can change the date there, and I can move it to a different column. So it's fairly easy. Now, in terms of planning practices, I've lately been doing cross-training here. So at one of the Zoominars earlier this year for martial arts, one of our sensei, Carol Galligan sensei in Ontario, she shared this quadrant, these quadrants, I guess I should say, at the Guelph Zoominar. And she said that each of our techniques or each of our kata, our forms, so you can musically think of them as pieces, contain each of these characteristics. So my students and I had talked about how we could make that work musically. So first stage learning, we're trying to be as precise as we can. We're trying to get the notes, the melody, the chords, the rhythm, study the form. And then as we get a bit more comfortable, then we move into the strong quadrant where we're dealing with dynamics. So I had my students help me out with this, which was great, getting their feedback because it got them thinking and engaged. So once you've got this all going, then you start dealing with speed, and then finally the expression. And a lot of times, the more advanced you are, you actually wind up kind of combining these in steps. But really, it as a beginner, you kind of generally go around this path of top left being quadrant, like stage 1, top right being stage 2, bottom right stage 3, final stage, getting everything polished, everything smooth. When I'm planning my practices for the night, I kind of prioritize what I want to focus on for each piece or each technical requirement. I do try to do a little bit of sight reading and ear training every day. It's something that I really didn't enjoy doing as a as a child, as a student, but as an adult who performs and collaborates with other musicians, I've learned that that is non-negotiable. Got to work on it, or else you are going to let the team down. So that is why that gets a lot more work. And that's pretty much it these days. I do have, and I'll share this as well. I think, I can't remember if I've shared those practice planners. I think I have. It will probably be under my 100 Days of Practice challenge. So I'll put links to these down in the video description. So another thing that I've been doing these days, and this I get from maintaining a bullet journal. I actually have several, I guess you could say, bullet journals. So this is from my practice, my music practice journal. Over here on the top right corner, that's a shot of my regular, or the one book that rules all the rest of them, bullet journal. And then I do have one specifically for Budo study, so study of martial arts. Now, I used to keep a bit of a diary. One of my students really does like keeping an actual diary where she writes like what worked, what didn't work. I find it a lot easier just to have these trackers. So yeah, I've designed this on a spreadsheet so I could just copy and paste. But I find it's the same principle as maintaining that bullet journal. That there's a lot more intention, I think, when you actually have to sit and write it all down. And when you actually can see that, oh, I haven't worked on this for 3 weeks. And then you have to sit and think about, do you really need to? Is it worth it to keep it on the list? That's usually what I update. And that is basically it for what I've been doing these days with practice tracking and practice planning. So hopefully there will be some ideas there that'll work for you. I'll share links to previous blog posts about other things that my students and I have done. And hopefully one or two, some kind of combination of thereof will work for you. So, but it is important to have a plan. There's going to be some days where you're just too brain dead and you just have to pull something out and just play. Or other days where you just know, no practicing's happening today. It's not going to be productive at all, and you should just go rest. And that's fine too. But the main thing is whether you're a beginner student or have been playing for 10 plus years. It is good to actually sit and come up with a game plan, set up some goals. I'm sure you've heard of the SMART acronym there for goal setting. So specific, measurable, achievable, I think, and time sensitive. Otherwise, you kind of float around. I'll also put a link down to the Bulletproof Musicians blog. So Dr. Noah Kagayama, I believe, he's got lots of practice tips and some suggestions for planning your practices so that they're a bit more mindful, a bit more planned, a little bit of structure. Balance it. It's nice to have some of those days that aren't structured, but in general, if you're trying to learn a piece for an exam or a competition or an audition, or what have you, you actually need to set up some goals and some milestones and a game plan and try to stick with it as much as you can. So that's my suggestions for this year. So good luck with the practice planning. If you've got a practice idea or a practice plan, suggestions, things that have been working for you, please put them down in the comments, and hopefully we can get a discussion going. So take care, happy practicing. See you next video. Bye.